Solo: A Star Wars Story is directed by Ron Howard, stars Woody Harrelson, Alden Ehrenreich, Amelia Clarke, and Donald Glover, a sassy feminist robot, and some footage that may or may not be directed by a different person. All right, ma'am, what did you think of Solo: A Star Wars Story?
Good. Not great. That's for sure. Had more fun with it than I thought I would. But I don't know. It's pretty mediocre.
Yeah, it's just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fun.
Really
It's fun. It's enjoyable.
There were definitely things in it that I liked, for sure.
It's not great. It's not good.
No.
Yeah, overall initial reaction was kind of throughout the whole movie. I was like, couldn't really care for this. Yeah. Like, I don't see myself watching it more than once.
That's okay.
Exactly.
So on the way home after we saw it, I was like thinking about all the things that we saw in it, and I was like, okay, like I might have to see it again to kind of get it again. And I was like, I don't really want to watch it again. I mean, like I will, but I'm like, I don't really want to.
Yeah, I don't know if I really liked it, but I didn't dislike it. I mean, like for starters, there was a lot of things that I liked. Like I liked the practical effects. I thought were some of the best.
Same.
So far.
Same.
I thought they were amazing.
Amazing, like really amazing, actually.
This main stuff I liked all come from the second half, though, which gets more into my beef with it.
Right. And we talked about this before, that I actually quite enjoyed the first, 30 minutes of it quite a bit.
Yeah, I didn't like the first 30 minutes of it at all.
The first 30 minutes of it, to me, reminded me of, I've said this before, like Butch Cassidy, maybe, or, Bonnie and Clyde kind of vibe. It felt like an old school movie, we're gonna get out of this town, doll, that kind of thing.
Yeah. But the problem with the first half of it, and especially the beginning, was the exposition was set up so horribly that I didn't really have a reason to care at all. I didn't know what was going on. It sets up all this exposition in the very first 5 minutes, and it's not set up very well. It's kind of just characters telling a character who should know something, they tell them something they should already know, but because we're the audience, it's like, oh, that's news to us. Yeah. But why are they saying it like that? Like when Amelia Clarke's character is first introduced, they immediately say oh, it's Kira from here who does this, who's good at that.
It's like, he already knows that.
I get, okay,
he already knows.
That's kind of horrible.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the very just linear chase scene at the beginning.
I enjoyed that. I thought that was cool.
Really?
I actually liked that a lot, actually.
I didn't
like that at all.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, all right. What do you think of it?
There's something about all of the everything after the original trilogy has the same problem. Is the whole thing is you want the original feelings and the vibe of the original trilogy, but since technology, not in the Star Wars universe, but in real life technology, it's so much better because it's been so many years. It's it just kind of forces it to feel like a different
vibe.
It's a different
feeling. New hope.
Yeah, so this didn't feel like a Star Wars movie at all. I didn't get the vibe of a Star Wars movie at all, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but because it's just lasers and laser fights and the action show just I've been here, done that. It still doesn't make it any more special. Yeah. No matter how much you try and gear away from Star Wars. Right. Because you could tell they were trying their best. Let's not make this a Star Wars movie. This is a heist movie. Yeah. And even in that sense, it just didn't work because for the whole first half of the movie, everything that happens has nothing really to do with anything else that happens. You watch for a very, very long time him meet these characters and they set up these characters and it just doesn't go anywhere. Yeah. And then he finally gets the job, what I thought was halfway through the movie. Yeah. And that was just such a bummer. It felt like the pacing was just so off for the first half.
I agree.
It was hard to get into.
I agree for sure. I think the things that I did enjoy about it, because like I said, I didn't hate this film. Liked it better than Rogue One, of course. It's not hard to beat. Yeah. But
it's still just average.
But yeah, it's still just very regularly average. All the things I liked about it were everything that I liked about it was all the surface level stuff that I liked about Rogue One. I thought all the practical effects were really cool. I thought all the costumes were cool. The music was fine. The action scenes were fine.
I like the music in this a lot.
Can we bring up the music?
Yeah.
So, all the music was fine to me, except for the stuff where it goes, that stuff. I kind of liked it.
What the hell are you talking about?
You don't know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about like the Ghost in the Shell soundtrack
Yes.
kind of thing?
Yes.
That's an easier way of explaining it.
Oh, we don't like it.
Oh, we don't like anime. We don't watch anime at all. No, I thought that was dope. I even leaned over. I was like, dude, this music's really sick.
I liked it. It's very not Star Wars, but like, if this wasn't Star Wars, I would be like, this is really sick. But it was Star Wars, and I still thought it was kind of sick.
I thought the music was great. I didn't just think it was
I
fine.
liked
you know,
it as well.
Yeah.
Some of my
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No.
When they're fighting on like the train thing, he goes.
it's whenever like the,
it's like
the
it's
tribal
literally like a
people
choir
show up.
going.
Really?
Yeah,
No, I
it sounds
missed
like it's
that.
from Ghost in the Shell.
I was just
It does,
but
involved
it's
in the
great.
action and the characters.
It
I
is-
just couldn't pay attention.
I was really paying attention to the music because it actually stuck out to me, which it didn't for some of the other ones like
So,
Rogue One and stuff.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but it said I don't know the name of the composer that did the music, but he did almost all of the score. But then the Han Solo theme was done by John Williams. So they brought him on to do one song.
Okay.
I don't know which one it was, but I remember it sounded nice.
There's the song that plays the romantic theme in this is really, really great. It sounds old Hollywood. There was the part where it sounds like that, but it's different.
Oh, that's a different movie. That's a better movie.
That's a better movie. That's an actual movie.
By the
But
way, sorry, I'll let you finish.
There's the scene with Han Solo and the girl, and any romantic scenes with them
Girl.
with Amelia Clark. Where the romantic scene I thought was absolutely beautiful, but reminded me of old trilogy. That's about it.
Was a scene when they're flying around in the Millennium Falcon, and it's playing the asteroid asteroid
I remember that.
field scene.
Yeah.
And I was like, and we were just talking about that a couple days ago. I went, John, do the asteroid theme music, and
Yeah,
he
I
did.
was able to do it.
And I was like, so we're sitting in the theater.
Star Wars.
You've seen a Star Wars before. So we're sitting there, and it starts to play, and I was like, oh, I like that. Like, maybe happy.
Yeah, this was pre-Empire though, so
Yeah, so it doesn't.
that theme wasn't invented yet.
Yeah, we could go retcon that. We could retcon that. Okay. So that's music. What else do we have on here?
Cast.
Let's talk about the cast.
Other things that I liked was most of the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Most.
That was the best part of the movie.
Okay.
Is all the characters were all the cast, the actors did a good job, and Alden Albright, is that his name?
Alden Third Reich. I thought it did a
what's
great
his
job.
name?
Alden
Aaron
Ehrenreich.
Reich.
Aaron Reich. Okay.
Hey, Brandon, how do you say his name?
Aaron Reich.
Yeah. That guy.
I thought that he did great. I liked him a lot.
I did too.
Who did you like in the cast particularly?
Okay, so I know this is like the whole thing is like I keep seeing stuff about this on like clickbait, like YouTube videos, like this is the guy they should have got to cast Han Solo, and it's just a guy like doing like a Harrison Ford impression, and it's like really cringy. So they got a guy that looks close enough to like a young Harrison Ford and can kind of do his mannerisms, but he's not copying him, he's doing his own thing, but he did a really good job. I think he did a really good job. He did the best job that he could do with the material that he was given. You know what I'm saying?
I was expecting it not to be good, especially with the drama that happened during production.
Yeah.
Yeah, hearing everything about it.
He did a really good job.
That's right, because we
And
kept
I
hearing
was
stuff.
shocked.
And this is confirmed. Like we kept hearing stuff that like, oh, he was doing so bad they had to bring in like an acting coach and all that.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that means his acting's gonna be horrible. I can't wait to see it.
Well,
But it was like pretty good. So
well, what
like,
it was is what worked is his acting was just Star Wars.
Yeah.
His acting, same with Donald Glover and Amelia Clark. They were acting Star Wars.
which is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Star
It's
Wars
not
film.
really good. It's
No.
just how can you play with this to be like we're energetic, we're
Fun.
going on a
Exactly.
space adventure.
We're quippy.
Donald Glover doing
Yeah.
it, being extremely overly charismatic is what works so well
I loved
for
it.
him.
I loved it. Let's talk about Donald Glover,
Yeah.
the most talented man in the Northern Hemisphere.
According to almost the entire Northern Hemisphere, yeah. I thought he did great. I liked him a lot.
I loved him too.
My favorite part with him was when he was doing his diaries.
Yes. Very good. That made me laugh out loud because I told you guys that when they're all doing their secret mission, and he's like waiting on the ship. I was like, oh, like he's like, and it shows him like on like the hologram Skype call.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, he's like gonna betray him. He's gonna like rat him out or something. And the camera turns around and he's just like recording himself.
Yeah.
Like, my name's Lando. I'm still
Yeah,
mad. I thought that was so funny.
They
I
did
thought it was
just
great.
enough with him. Like
Yeah.
he isn't in the movie a whole lot. Like
No,
he's
he's
not
not.
like part of the main cast.
Yeah.
He's part of their on the job, and
Every
he does
s-
exactly what he's supposed to,
Yeah.
and he's there when he needs to
I
be.
totally bought him as a young Lando.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I thought he did a really good job.
That's what I think they were kind of trying to go for. Is no one was trying to be outstanding. They were just. I hope people just
Yeah.
buy this.
Yeah,
Which
and,
is what it felt like. Which it
and-
worked. It was fine.
and it kind of felt like that, like especially when Han and Lando and Chewie were all interacting. I was like, I buy these guys as youngins, you know?
Yeah, you know, it was nice seeing Chewbacca had a lot to do as well.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
Because he didn't do anything.
Yeah,
in
have
the
him.
Last Jedi.
He doesn't do anything.
He
in
barbecued a
lot.
pork,
Yeah.
which was good.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
But he never has. Chewbacca never has his own little motivation.
Yeah.
His whole thing is just I'm following
Oh,
Han.
you don't remember when he guided Yoda to a Yoda-sized escape pod in Revenge of the Sith?
I remember that.
It's pretty important.
Yeah, but that would. I'm sure he didn't want to do it.
No.
He's just a slave to the Jedi.
Exactly.
Um,
To the white man.
no, he never has like a specific goal. So, what was your favorite thing about this Chewbacca?
I really liked. I was thinking this while I was watching it. In Chewbacca's first scene in the movie, do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
His introduction to the film, which I thought was really cool, actually. I think with every Star Wars movie that comes out, the costume gets better. Because if you remember, like when The Force Awakens came out, like he looked good, but he was like really like kind of clean,
It was too clean.
super clean, right?
Force Awakens costume looked weird, and then the Last
Yeah.
Jedi,
And Last- it was getting better.
it looked like the costume in Empire.
And then
so it
this
was
one,
cool.
he looks so good. He looks
Yeah.
so good. There's parts where it's like his like fur's like blowing in the wind. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
he
looks
looked
handsome.
he looked like a real animal.
he
He looked good.
really
There's
good.
another Wookiee in the movie,
Yeah.
but he didn't. To me, he didn't look like a
Okay.
Wookiee.
He looked like a monkey.
Okay.
He didn't look like a Wookiee.
I wrote this down that he looks like he's from Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
What are you looking at?
He to me.
Is that the script?
John.
He looked like a monkey. Like his whole body's Wookiee,
Yeah.
but his face just straight up looks like Planet of the Apes. Like
his-
original Planet of the Apes.
His face looked like the ape in 2001. That's doing
Yes,
that shit.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just looked like an early man.
And it was like really off-putting. I was like,
really
oh my
weird.
god, like that's
Yes.
horrifying. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And when like Chewie's hugging him, I'm like, Chewie's so much more handsome than this
Yes.
other disgusting animal. Like, sorry.
Yeah,
Wookiees.
dude, Chewie must be a 10 in the Wookiee world.
Chewie lays mad pipe, tree pipe. That's how he got lumpy. Sorry.
Speaking of characters, this was some of the themes presented I thought worked, but they weren't that strong. So it was hard to pinpoint exactly what this movie specifically was trying to say.
Yeah.
Because it kept just being about pay attention, you know, like can you trust anybody?
That's
blah blah. It was the
that's vibe I
typical
got.
heist thing.
Yeah.
But it's like it
yeah.
only comes up every now and then. It's like
Don't trust nobody,
yeah,
kid.
it was
Yeah.
like
And it's like,
well,
I've
I've
seen it.
seen a lot of heist movies,
Seen
so you gotta do something better than that.
Yeah.
I was
Flat.
also more confused. Some of the themes weren't exactly clear because his character is partly almost the same the whole way.
Han?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they can't do any big moral change throughout. So I was like, okay, they're probably not gonna do that. They'll probably do it with the other characters, and
Yeah.
even then they don't.
Yeah.
It's like things you discover is kind of how they were at the same
Yeah.
time, like who everyone has their secrets, and it's
Right.
like they didn't like change. It's just we learned things about them.
Yeah.
And that just goes back to like, oh, it's just the typical
That's
heist thing. I've
That's a
seen.
good way to put it. Is that it's not that you develop more things like for Han Solo.
Yeah.
It's his movie, right? It's not that you develop more things about his character. You just kind of learn more stuff about him. It's not that
Yeah.
you're not beefing the character up. You're just like, oh, this is where he's from. This is his girlfriend.
Yeah, it really
This
is.
is where he got his
just,
gun.
It really is just let's watch Han go on and
Sure.
like his first big
Which I
adventure,
honestly
which
kind
is
of
fine.
appreciate.
Yeah.
But I kind of I appreciate it and it annoys me at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they set it up at the end where like Han is actually a good guy. He's the good guy, and I always knew that, but I still also like knew Han as just he's
Scumbag.
a jerk who doesn't want to help anybody.
Yeah, he's real selfish.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
the one thing. I was telling you guys yesterday that a big part of what makes the Han Solo character important to me is that everybody thinks of him as like the like rogue, and he's kind of badass, and he kind of does his own thing, and he's kind of selfish and stuff. But like everybody kind of forgets that like he's kind of nervous, and he's like kind of like a jackass, and like he like messes up a lot, and
Yeah,
he's like
he's
kind of
really
clumsy, and he's kind of like a doofus. But he covers that up with like this like kind of like swag almost, like I don't know.
Right.
And
he gets
so
like angry too.
and he's a grump, right? And so I think that they got that right, but this like another key part of his character is that he's like really selfish, and I feel like they didn't really get that all the way.
Yeah.
All the way. I have a question for you guys. So everybody keeps talking about like, oh, like this isn't a movie that I want to see, right? Like this isn't a movie that's necessary.
Yes.
But it's
like
like
us.
like us, yeah, exactly. But it's like, does this movie bring anything to the table that was like, if they didn't make this, I would be like, oh, like that's fine, they didn't make that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
is there anything
that's that critical
necessary?
in this
That's
story
necessary?
that matters to the rest of the Star Wars universe?
No.
Exactly.
Same thing as Rogue
And
One.
okay, so let me ask you: is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't think it's really.
Okay.
I'm not disappointed. Okay, the movie beat my expectations because we were expecting it to be awful,
And we
I'm
also
sure a lot of
wanted
fans.
it to be awful.
Yeah,
I wish it was awful so we could hate it
Loki
more.
wanted to be awful, but
Yeah.
we always, I go into a movie just with the benefit of the doubt. I was like, I don't even really judge movies like, what is this a good Star Wars movie? Is this a good
movie.
Lord of the Rings movie? Whatever. Like, it's just, is it a good movie or not? And so I went in there with that mindset, and it was better than I expected. And I think for Star Wars fans, that's all they really wanted.
Yeah.
And so that's fine.
Yeah.
But again, the movie itself is like, I don't care for it. There's lots of things I didn't care about it at all.
Right.
All right, from this point on in the review, it's gonna be nothing but spoiler talk. So we're just gonna talk about things as if they don't matter. So if you don't
'Cause they
like that,
don't.
just turn it off
'Cause
now.
they don't.
So the biggest spoiler of all, let's just say it, is that Darth Maul shows up at the very end, and he's like the main villain, the main boss of Kira, which is Emilia Clarke's character. So we'll start with you, Jaden.
Don't fist pump. It's not cool.
It's not cool.
It's not cool.
What did you think of Darth Maul, a Star Wars story?
Darth Maul, a lightsaber story.
He has more lines in this than he does in Phantom
That's
Menace,
true,
so it
he
might
does.
as well be his own movie.
It's-
Yeah, it's really dumb. It didn't I didn't hate it, but I didn't hate it because I don't care, is why. But it's just like, it's really dumb. So, but the dumbest part is that he's CGI.
Yeah, that's the dumbest. That is the dumbest.
That is
part.
the
Why?
dumbest
It's
part.
because it doesn't make sense.
no,
Like,
why is he CGI?
Yeah, exactly.
Why is he CGI?
It's like
That's
Ray
what's-
Park is
okay.
alive.
Like, you can't have a character that's known as a dude with paint on his face and practical horns,
Yeah.
and then just make him CGI and he looks like the same species but a different guy.
yeah, he
And
still
he has robot legs because, obviously,
'Cause why?
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, so I'm a big fan of the Clone Wars, but this doesn't make sense because in Clone Wars your suspension of disbelief has to be non-existent, and you just have to accept that Darth Maul is alive.
No.
And so for
I
putting
won't.
it into a live action movie is like kind of it actually felt jarring.
Yeah.
And I like the Darth Maul episodes.
Okay.
It just felt so jarring.
Look, here's my whole thing, which I told you guys before, is that like, there are episodes of the Clone Wars that I like. Overall, it's like I don't want to watch that to feel like I had to get the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
even if those episodes are fun and they're good and whatever, Darth Maul died in Phantom Menace, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so
And he should stay dead.
and he should stay dead. Because when they brought him back in Clone Wars years ago, I was like, that's so stupid. Like, that's pandering and it's just dumb. Like, just let it be.
Well, that's what this is.
I know.
It's pandering.
So, but at least it wasn't a movie. It was a show that I just could choose not to watch.
Right.
And I can just be like, whatever. Rebels, same thing. Whatever. But now I'm sitting there in the movie theater and a CGI Darth Maul comes out and I'm like, oh, I just like felt horrible. I was like actually upset. I was like, get that out of here.
It's weird how you can create a Star This movie with all of these fans, and it's like obviously there's a lot of people that like Star Wars, but how could this idea be out there and you say, oh yeah, that's a good idea?
Yeah. who was like, was it Ron Howard? Was it
Like
Kathleen Kennedy?
if somebody told me that, I'd instantly just be like, yeah, this is dumb.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work.
Well, that and it was this Darth Maul scene, and then a lot of other scenes in the movie,
Yeah.
which bring it back. It's just that there's so many just like fan clapping moments where you're supposed to lean over and be like, "Oh, that's the first time Han Solo walks on the Millennium Falcon," and it didn't work.
They were never as big as
Rogue.
hologram Darth Maul showing up out of nowhere. They were never that big.
They weren't that big, but I still felt that it was like they were just sprinkled throughout. Where I was like, the whole thing. It's like people are gonna say they like this movie, but I feel like the only stuff they're gonna like is all those little nods. And there's so many little ones that are just like sprinkled throughout. That's like you only like this because it's like familiar to you.
Like
which is why I didn't like the movie.
Like, are you talking about in like the first 15 minutes when they mentioned Bosk by name?
Yeah, they just randomly throw in Bosk's name and these planets that we know.
Get
I mentioned
Bosk outta here.
Scarif and Felicia and stuff
weird,
like that. Just all this random stuff thrown throughout. That's young Luke. That's young Luke.
That's where Ayla Secura got murdered.
Yeah. That's where they blew this one girl's brains out.
Yeah. All over the sand.
Great.
Oh my god.
There was a reference. I was just talking about references now because Darth Maul is a reference. That's how you end your movies, in a reference.
Yeah.
But there was a part, I don't remember the scene, but Kira like tackles a guy or like puts a guy in like a headlock or something, and I don't know who says it, if it was Beckett or Lando or whatever, but they're like, oh, like, what was that? And she goes, oh, that was Terrace Kasai. Do you know what Terrace Kasai is?
We're not as big as Star Wars fans as you, apparently, but go ahead and tell us, Ricky.
Not nerds.
Terrace Kasai was a video game that came out in like 1992. That was like the Star Wars version of like Mortal Kombat because they wanted to get some of that money. So it's a game where like you can play as Luke and you like can fight Han Solo and you're like punching each other. It's horrible. It's terrible. I've played it. It sucks. And I'm like, don't mention that in here. Get that out of here.
So wait, it's not a fighting style. It's the name of a game.
It's not from anything but that.
Technically, I think because the game's called Masters of Terrace Kasai.
Oh.
So I would assume that means that like Terrace Kasai is like a kind of martial art in the Star Wars universe. But it's like, you don't need to mention that. Just say, oh,
I was just doing a nod to a little thing. But when you throw
go.
in so many little nods that only certain people are gonna get, it's like this isn't even it's not even its own movie anymore. It's just
reference.
Because
it's like, where's Waldo?
Exactly.
Where's Lando?
It's like I should be able to watch this without any knowledge of the other movies because this is like a setup.
I talked to you about this earlier. There's a scene when they arrive on Kessel, and they had, like, their plan is to like they're gonna put Han and Chewie in handcuffs, and and they get off the Falcon, right? And Woody Harrelson is wearing Lando's outfit from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Why does he have that? I always just assumed that like Lando just got that uniform like when he like infiltrated like Jabba's palace. But no, it's just like an outfit that he has.
Yeah, him having that outfit is like, oh gosh, like everyone's gonna just clap at that.
That's
it's like
with all the
so
fan service. It's like the same thing with Rogue One.
Yeah.
It's like you throw in all this fan service, but it doesn't make any sense.
It's like
really
what are you doing?
Comfortable.
Because then it makes you think like, oh, am I supposed to clap for that?
Yeah, exactly. It's little stuff like that. I thought the way Han Solo got his name was really dumb.
Yeah.
Not because I was expecting anything, but because I didn't want it in the first place, and then it was exactly what I expected.
Yeah.
The film was exactly pretty much what I expected, but a little bit better than I expected, just because there were more scenes that I actually enjoyed. It was it was like a novel. Novel built up.
You know what?
Like all this stuff I would totally expect.
You know what that scene reminded me of when he got his name? Was the scene in Rogue One where they go, what's your call sign? Rogue One?
Rogue.
What's your name?
One, a Star Wars story.
Han Solo? It's just like, why is every movie doing that now?
It was just...
Skywalker? That's maybe the young Luke movie?
I didn't think there was some weird thing about how Han Solo got his name. I just thought...
That's just his name.
Probably like a childhood nickname. I don't know. I don't care.
That's his name. I never thought about it.
As far as like the beginning goes, I was just so shaky and like whatever. I didn't care for the ending at all.
Me neither.
Yeah, I didn't care for it
The
at
only
all.
thing I liked about the ending is Woody Harrelson's death.
Yeah, me too.
I thought that was cool. And
is the way he died, or because he
like his
no longer was in the film?
Maybe a little bit of both.
I like his character.
Actually, I liked it on a few levels. One, he was no longer in the film. I actually think he did a good job. I think Woody Harrelson did
I
a
think
good
he's
job.
the best character in the movie.
He
You
was-
like his
Sorry.
shaved sides.
I liked his toupee a lot. I liked when he was flapping around in the wind. It reminded me of
Yeah.
President Trump. I thought it was very good.
I respect Woody Harrelson a lot, and he's in Planet of the Apes, and he sells that.
That's right.
But it's weird. You mentioned this. It's
Zombieland.
weird seeing him in Star
Yeah.
Wars. But then again, this
Yeah.
movie doesn't feel like Star Wars. And
So-
it's just
Okay,
Well, it's
so
like
different.
it's the hard thing of putting
famous people.
famous people,
Yeah.
people already famous in
People
Star
get
Wars.
famous from
That's
Star
what I
Wars.
appreciated about
Yeah.
about the new
Yeah. Oh,
about
no,
the
for the most part.
sequels is that Daisy Ridley and John Boyega aren't famous,
Yeah. And Adam Driver is handsome, confirmed.
and Adam Driver wasn't famous.
he wasn't famous.
Not
But
really.
they were like
More
him
than-
and
more
Oscar
than- yeah, him and Oscar Isaac
were doing like indie films at the
Yeah.
time.
But
so
that's the
it's
thing
cool.
is that people get famous from Star Wars. You don't get famous and then get put in Star Wars. It's weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Same with not a lot of people knew who Felicity Jones was. She was just an Oscar-nominated actress, which
She was in like one big.
she was
movie.
one
a
big
couple
movie.
big movies. Yeah.
So you're right.
But that being said, I didn't mind him or his performance at all.
Yeah. I think
I
what
quite
we're
enjoyed it
Yeah,
actually.
it's fine.
I think what we're gonna see with this film is really just how old is Star Wars starting to feel already
Yeah.
with Disney buying it and just saying we're gonna make this, we're gonna make this. We're making a whole new trilogy right after the end of the trilogy to make it feel completely just obsolete. So I think with this film, we're really gonna see like, okay, I think it got kind of old, and I don't really care because it tried its best. It tried its best to not be a Star Wars movie,
Yeah.
and it still didn't quite work. It still kind of felt like, okay, the laser fights really aren't that entertaining. That long train sequence, though, was really well executed. I'm not
You know
having
what?
that much fun.
You know what? I caught myself thinking a few times during. That's so funny. What I caught myself thinking during that really long train sequence. Like I said, I liked the scene. I thought it was kind of clever and kind of fun and kind of cool. It just went on for too long. I about maybe halfway through that scene, I was like, I just want this scene to be over so I can get some like nice like dialogue scenes. Like I kind of just want to see like what's gonna happen next.
Right.
Like, because again, I know Han Solo and Chewie aren't gonna die, so I kind of just want to see what's gonna happen next.
So
It's a good way to put it.
overall, that's kind of all I would say. Is like, yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was better.
That's a good way to put it.
I thought it was better than Rogue One.
It didn't
Like,
piss me off.
It didn't
Well-
anger me that it like I'm still in my head. It's like
It
I don't
did
know why
later.
this existed,
Yeah.
but I'm okay with what I got. I don't really need to see it again, and I just hope people have a good time.
Yeah. Favorite scene in the movie?
My favorite scene is the whole like droid outbreak sequence. Just that whole sequence, but I guess like scene wise is when they like actually
Yeah.
get out. And,
That was
like,
a good scene.
Lando's
I-
like going through and he's like sliding through. And
I
he's,
really
like
liked
doing stuff.
like the droids are all stomping on the
Right, yeah,
computers
yeah.
and stuff. And,
Oh
like,
yeah, that whole like
That
scene
was
with
rad.
that,
They
yeah,
were all
it
like
was really
puppets
cool.
and yeah.
It felt
Yeah.
felt
was-
so different and
yeah,
energetic.
that was
and I like
awesome. That
yeah.
was sick. I really liked that a lot actually.
Least favorite scene. I don't really say I have a least favorite. I think there was just points where I was just not feeling it.
Okay.
I think
Opening
what bogged the pacing down a lot was just that full train sequence.
Yeah.
So I guess
Yeah.
that would just be my least favorite scene overall.
Okay.
And
Favorite scene?
The
least favorite
same
scene?
at what's the place called?
Cor-
Spice Mines of Kessel.
Spice Mines of Kiss.
Castle.
Kessel.
There's a name for it, but I can't remember what it is.
Spice Mines and Castle.
It's what you guys were talking about. Not all the robot stuff. I didn't care about that.
You're a hard man to please.
It's all Lando stuff.
I like that stuff a lot too.
I like when
A lot.
the robot lady dies because I don't really like the robot lady.
See, you're a hard man
But
to please.
but no, I liked when she was dying
Yeah.
and Lando was very upset. And
I loved that scene.
he had his like, he was just like, it was sick.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was really cool.
He really
Yeah.
like did a good job with that
Yeah.
scene. This isn't like my favorite scene because I really liked a lot of the Lando scenes as well. Not my favorite scene, but like a scene that I just remembered I liked was after they make the Kessel Run, and Han and Lando are like on the beach, and like Han thinks he's like hot shit because like he did the Kessel Run, and he's like yeah, Lando, he's like pretty good ship, whatever, and Lando's like, I hate you, I don't want to see you ever again. I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
good,
good
like,
moment.
that's-
That's a good moment.
for sure.
Um,
My least favorite scene would have to be Darth Maul. I thought that was so.
I think this. Yeah.
I felt like that was so like forced in for no reason, had nothing to do with anything.
It's like it's a very studio thing.
It felt very
Where it's
Marvel.
It
It
has
felt very
nothing-
post-credit scene.
Like post-credit scene, exactly. It was a very studio thing of like it didn't need to be there, and it was just like the movie could have ended.
It could have ended
just like let's
throw
throw this
that
in
in
there for everyone to get all excited.
That was like
Except
the big moment.
it did the opposite.
Yeah,
Exactly. That was like the big moment where it revealed itself as this is very fan filmy and very
big time.
like this is what Star Wars.
Big
This is what you didn't want Star Wars to now become. And guess what? This
go.
is it now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And
For me overall, the whole franchise is kind of going downhill for me.
I just
But,
I think I just need to watch episode 9 and I'm good. Like I don't need to watch any others, but I will.
I will.
But my favorite scene in the whole movie is when Darth Maul shows up because it made me yelp out loud. And a movie hasn't made me do that in a while. I went, bah! I was like, what?
Yeah.
And it's gonna be
It
something.
shocked me. Yeah.
I was at work today, doing my work, and I couldn't tell you how many times I would stop to think and be like, why is Darth Maul in a Han Solo movie like so many times today?
No, I kept forgetting about it.
Yeah.
And every time I thought about it, I was like,
That was the only thing that was in my head. I really just wanted to yell it out loud. Well, final rating on the movie out of 10, A+, A-, whatever you want to give it. You let us.
I'll just say you don't have to really see it. You can see it if you want to.
On a scale, would you put on a scale?
What's average? 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the most average movie ever
Average
made.
is like 5. It's like between 4 and 5.
Recommendation wise, honestly, I could say if you've never seen Star Wars, you actually might enjoy it because
Mm-hmm.
it's not a very Star Warsy movie.
Yeah.
So go see it.
Yeah.
It's not a waste of money, but I put it maybe like a C+. I think honestly, I might like it more over time. I'm kind of getting that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Final rating for you?
I think I originally said like 6.5, 6.5, because I think there's average, there's below average, and there's above average, and it's definitely not above average, and it's definitely not below average. It's average. So whatever average is, 5 or 6. Numbers are always kind of weird, but average, mediocre. You know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really. I love Star Wars so much. And it really bums me out that I don't want to like go back and see it right away. I really could care less. I will go see it again, I'm sure, but like that's not what I'm gonna go do as soon as this is over, you know. And that kind of bums me out. That's how it was like when we saw The Force Awakens. Like we saw that so many times, you know. And I don't.
Yeah.
That's not how I feel at all. So I don't know. Maybe if you're, depends on what kind of Star Wars fan you are, you might like this. And depending on what kind of Star Wars fan you are, you might not like it. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's not like Empire is like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
This is probably not going to be my favorite movie of the year, and that's just I don't care about that.
It's already not.
It's
my
already
favorite.
not.
My favorite movie of the year is gonna be Creed 2.
Well, thank you for joining us on our first episode, Ricky. It was great having you. We'll probably never see you again.
Thank God.
Yeah.
So go see Solo or don't.
Either is fine.
Either's fine. Bye.